What's up, guys? I think we're live. Welcome back. I'm gonna do a live video. It's gonna be really awesome. I want to do kind of a Q&A today. It's Sunday over here. It's Sunday for you also, I guess. But yeah, so I'm in Progreso right now. It's really cool, except now it's like really cloudy and about to rain. That's why I thought I would do a Q&A instead. I think it's much better. So you guys can do in the chat if you're watching me live. I would appreciate. And we have Jonathan from Brazil. That's awesome. EG, it's awesome. Perfect. And yeah, I want to cover a topic first, but then we'll get to your questions, whatever you want me to talk about, whatever you prefer or you want to hear about, we'll cover that. And we'll probably do a kind of review of the market tomorrow, so not today, because it's like now Sunday. Pointless to do it here. I prefer Monday for that. So, but I did it for myself this morning, so I'm ready for that, of course. But first question I have is I want to talk about something someone asked on one of my stories or a post on YouTube, and that was about I see Belgium, that's awesome. That was about drawdowns. So I think the question was, is it possible to avoid drawdowns? And it's not possible to avoid them, of course, as you guys know, but it's possible to minimize them. And that's where there's a few things you can do. So, and by the way, I'll talk about this more on Thursday. Thursday I do an event. I'll put this over here. So it's gonna be a live event on this channel, but you have to subscribe for it. So links in the below if you want to sign up. That's my last training pretty much of 2018, the last one, because like we're getting near the end of the year. So we'll talk about a bunch of things, including that, how you can reach your goals in terms of like strategies and stuff that you have, and how you can minimize drawdown. We'll talk about that too. So let's give you a quick overview of that. So when you think about drawdowns, right, you have to think about the fact that the more strategy you have, the less drawdowns you'll have. That's for sure, because they kind of go against each other sometimes. So they combining things is going to lead to low drawdown, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is you have to think about the fact that you don't have to trade all the time. You as a trader can take breaks, not trade, if you know that what you trade now doesn't work in some circumstance, doesn't work in some market types. And that means if you stop trading for some time, for a month and a half, 2 months if you need, while there's a big drawdown, and you know it could be a drawdown because of the market, because of how things behave and stuff, you will save a lot of lost money, a lot of drawdown. And I did this in the past where I think it was in summer, like two years ago, I think, where summer started to be really good, and then at some point it kind of died. There was like Brexit at that time and everything too, and so I stopped trading for like a month and a half, and I got back after. These trades, I still like look at them on a daily basis, and they were all losing trade the whole like 2-3 months of the summer. Right, so I stopped for like 2 months out of that, and I voted a big drawdown there. So that's another way, but you have to be really experienced and really good at knowing when the drawdown like happens for your style and when you should stop trading. That takes time, that takes practice, but once you get it, then you become much better and it's easier to avoid. Okay, so that's the second thing. So first thing is, of course, combine strategies and stuff, have more than one. It's going to reduce drawdown. Second thing is like trade when, or stop trading when you don't need to trade, okay? So two big things. Now I'll wait for your question. You guys can comment below in the chat if you have any question for today, and we'll do that. It's gonna be a Q&A, kind of fun. It's really crazy outside at the beach. Like there's a lot of wind and everything. It's pretty insane, but yeah. So if you guys want to sign up for that event, this is gonna be on Thursday. Live training at 12 p.m. Eastern time. The link's gonna be below, of course, in the description, and we'll be able to rock that on Thursday. I see we have Tobias, Jared, what's up, Jared, Emmanuel, Roderick, awesome. Oh, and other thing I'm really excited about is we have a mastermind call for the academy this Wednesday. I think it's at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're a member of the academy, make sure you join us. It's gonna be awesome. Plus, we have Michael Tama joining us for this mastermind call. It's just gonna be epic. So he's a really good guy. Anmol says, "What's the best way to transfer funds from your bank account to your Forex account?" I want to do a wire transfer, but they don't want wire transfer. That's a really good question, Anmol. I really like that. So just 2 days ago, I put a new account with a different broker because I want to have like multiple brokers now. And I had to deposit money in that account. It's with X Trader, and I opened the account, want to put money in, and I think they had only 2 ways to do it, or maybe that's one that they had only 2 ways, because I kind of looked at both. But they always have like wire, and usually they have like credit card. I think Onda used to have PayPal too, but they don't have it anymore for Canadian people. So now what I do is I kind of I just want to put the credit card thing. So you kind of pay with your credit card, and then you can repay it on your bank statement if you want and have like any fees or whatever if you have some fees for that. But that's how I did it, and you just have to do it like in small increments, pay it over time. Because like if you put it like, I don't know, depending on like what's your credit limit, but if you put it like $20,000 in one shot, it probably will be blocked. But if you put in like 2,000 at a time, then it won't be blocked, right? It's gonna go well. So I did that. I put $2,000 the first day. I'll keep putting some more over time, but that's how I did it with a credit card. So it's the best thing in my opinion, but I could be wrong. And I think they have a limit where I think it's if you like you have to wait 3 months to withdraw, otherwise they put it back on your credit card. If you wait more than 3 months, then you can withdraw it and like do a wire transfer back to your bank account, which is kind of fine for me. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be more than 3 months for this account. So that's how you put money in your bank account. But look at what on your trading account. Look at what your broker offers. They might have multiple ways. I know the wire transfer is like a mess because it's long, it takes time, and it's just not the best. So those are the ways I think it's better. But you guys can comment and let me know also if you did something different or not. I'll be curious to know, of course. Jared says, can you trade algorithms if you're not a programmer? Of course. The proof is I'm not at all a programmer. I learned how to program a little bit. I know how to code a little bit. But I don't spend my days programming. I don't work as a programmer. I don't, like, that's not what I enjoy doing. And I do it, like, now, not at all. Right? You just have to find someone in your team who's going to maybe code for you, do the work that you don't want to do, you're not good at. And then you're done. It's fine. You'll have it, right? So you just have to, I think creating a relationship, and we'll talk about that more on Thursday also in the training. It's going to be linked below. But I think having a team is way underrated and so powerful that, like, you should have one. I think, like, people that want to find all the answers for themselves, they want to know everything, like how to do this, that, and everything of that sort. They don't succeed because they are always looking for solution and always looking for, like, the answer to everything. But the people that create the right team around them and that accept the fact that they might not have the answers, but that people around them might have the answers, they are the one going ahead because, like, they don't have to learn everything. They don't have to read all the books. It's ridiculous to want to read all the books in Forex because, like, most of them are crap, first of all. But then the second thing is, like, do you need them? You could just ask someone next to you, and then they would answer. They would help you out. So that's a big thing. Like, think about your team and make sure you have a programmer in your team. And you can find one, like, pretty easy these days. And especially for me, I realized that, like, once you get some amount of money every month, like, paying other people is kind of cheap sometimes. It's like you can spend hours doing it or hiring someone to do it. And for me, I would not prefer to hire someone and not have to worry about coding or doing things I don't like to do. So that's my big direction for the next few months for sure. Having other people do the work for me. But yeah. So yeah, it's totally possible, of course. What's up, Lars? Welcome. Jonathan, welcome. Jonathan was here. Awesome. Jonathan says, it seems that every course out there or the pros in Forex trade based on price action. Maybe not just candlestick patterns, but they use something around price action. Well, yes and no. I've seen plenty of people that don't trade price action. They trade only something about fundamentals, or they only trade systems that they've built with like it's kind of still price action because, like, it depends how you define price action. Price action is like the movement in price, the action in price. So everyone trades that. Like, no one doesn't trade price. So depends how you see it, but not everyone trades price action. That's for sure. No, some people are looking at like big things that are complicated and stuff, and they make money with it. So that's up to them. But it really depends. So I wouldn't say so. We had a question from. Okay, so the question was, can I become a pro without relying on price action? Of course, totally possible. What's the best strategy to start Forex trading? Any hints? I guess there's no best strategies, as you guys all know. You got to start with what you know a little bit, apply that, and again, well, this is something I want to talk about on Thursday. It's such a big myth that People think that they have to find the right strategy or the perfect thing to trade, while they would much be better to focus on something average. And an average strategy doesn't make you average. An average strategy that gives you average result, that makes you average. That makes you a bad trader. Like, you need to plan properly your stuff, and that might mean you have like a few average strategies, but that together are really important, really big, and making you a living. Like, you don't need more than that. Having something average is better than perfect, because like perfect never works, and you can never attain it. And you spend hours and days and months trying to perfect it, and then you get no result, which is not what you want to have ever. Okay, so find something that's average. It's totally fine, and trade that. And there's plenty of ways to find strategies. It's like there's books, which most of them might not be the best, but there's courses, there's podcasts, which I got a lot of ideas from my podcast, my own podcast. There's yeah, books, courses, your coach, your friends that are traders, because you should surround yourself with traders, of course. We all know that, and that's another big thing. I got a lot of my ideas now from people I talk to, traders that recommend something or share something they do, and that's cool. That's what I did to try. Then you try it out, test it out, and sometimes it works, and that's where you get a lot of value. So that's pretty powerful. You start with that, and then trade it, see if it works, and you'll get some result, or adjust some feedback. From the feedback, you can adjust, and that's the power of like getting feedback. So that's pretty much how it goes. Tobias says, I'm close to finishing 3 months in a simulator and have performed consistent result over that period. Awesome, good job. I want to go live, but I don't have 25k balance. What is your advice for possible funding? Awesome. Okay, well, again, like I say this all the time, but we'll talk about that on Thursday. I've set up like a complete framework for that, how you should go about it. But you don't need $25,000 necessarily, or you could have it. So there's kind of two ways you can go about trading. Number one is like you go about strategies. So like you create multiple strategies that are going to make a higher profit, like a higher percentage of return per month. And that's valid, that some people do it. The other way is you go about finding investors, finding capital. Now you got to be really clear on what you want. You want to go with the strategy way, so having multiple strategies, multiple things you work on, and maybe a lower capital. Or you want to go with finding investors and reaching out to people to get money to trade. Both ways are valid. You just have to figure out which one you go, and that's going to be a business model. You do that, and then you'll see result. Okay, you just have to be clear on what you want to have, and then based on what you want to have, I can recommend something after. But if it's the investor way, totally fine. Finding investors to trade, and there's plenty of sites for that, plenty of resource, and or you can just do it yourself manually. Talk to people, meet people in your city, and come across people that will give you money. So totally fine. Both ways work. I've seen people succeed really well in both ways. As a new trader, what should be my number one focus right now with my studying? That's a good question. I didn't thought about that, but what should be your number one focus if you're starting out? Oh yeah. Well, always comes down to, I'll say, like developing a relationship with people, like trying to get yourself in a group where you can find traders and meet traders in person. And I've seen such a big impact for myself, mainly because I tend to not do that by nature. Like I'm not a people connector necessarily. I don't like talk to everywhere to anyone everywhere. But I had to force myself to do it, meet people, meet traders, and interact with them, and that's how I started biggest value for myself. Could be different for you, like just different things. We could talk about like trading something, starting out with something basic, and what we call also, you guys might have heard the term before, it's called like just-in-time learning, where you just like start to learn, start something basic, you learn, and then you get to a point where you apply it. Right? So you learn something from a book, you apply it, and then you'll want to know something else. You learn that, try to search information on that, apply it, and then you just do that over and over again. Because people like think that they have to learn everything at once. Like, oh, I want to learn this and that, and price action, candlestick, and bone shaban, and all the indicators out there, all the entry rules, all the exit rules. But if they were to just apply one thing at a time, learn and apply, they will get much more ahead, and the result will be better. Like, of course, it's gonna take more time, that like you don't have the result like right away instantaneously, but at least you put in the work to apply things and see the result and adjust over time. I did this many times. Like a couple of years ago, I was building an app for iPhone, and I didn't know how to code back then at all, like nothing. And I just searched online a little bit how to code, and I started to learn a little bit, and then I started to do my app, started to code my app, and then I didn't know how to do something. I went back on the internet, find answers to my problems and my questions. Went back to code, back to the internet for a solution, back to code, and I just finished it that way. Like at the end, I was not a pro coder at all, but I knew a little bit kind of how to do things, and I went through my process. And if you ask me to do it again, I can do it because I've built through all the phase of that coding part. So that's something you can think about. Like go slow, apply, go back to your questions, and then apply again after. I think that's much better. And you do this, of course, with a demo account, like not all in with your live money, so you can kind of at least survive for some time. But that's how you should do things, in my opinion. Okay, that was Roderick. Awesome. Shane says, going forward, can you also consider running YouTube event for the ocean? Yeah, Australia. Most of my time, yeah, they're in the middle of the night. Yeah, I can't do that because so. Here's the challenge with the fact that there's multiple time zones and countries and continents in the world. You can't really please everyone. And if I were to kind of do something for Australia, I would have to do it at night. And that would be your morning. But then it would be really late night for me. So it's kind of tough to accommodate. But for sure, when I'll be in Australia next year, at some point, I'll do something for the Australian time zone. That's for sure. We'll make it happen. But yeah, that's all I can tell for now. Cool, guys. Any question you guys have, comment below in the chat. And I just want a reminder, we have a live event on Thursday, and the link is below the video for that. I'll be talking about a lot of cool things, including how to reach your goals, how to set goals, how to go what we talked about earlier, the strategy or the investor's way about trading, and kind of how to develop from there. So super cool stuff. And it's gonna be the last event of the year, so you don't want to miss out. And like really make sure you apply things now, because like 2019 starts now. The progress you make in 2019 has to be planned now, and that's not like the next month, because like people tend to wait, then they don't like get anything done. They forget, they skip the planning, and then they just not advance. So better not do this. Okay. So yeah, that's about it. Tabia says, I'm trading stocks like Andrew Ashes. Yeah, great guy. Where you did a podcast with him, and he recommends minimum of 20K to start trading. I just don't know what people should approach. Yeah. Okay, that's a really good question. So Tobias, like we talked about before, says he wants to have 20K minimum to trade. How can he get the money? Well, it's pretty simple. There's sites everywhere that talk about giving you financing. And that's going to be stock, so it might be a little bit different, but there's a site that Jeremy Newsom recommended me called Top Step Trader, I believe, where I think you can pay like a monthly fee, pretty small fee, and then they give you money to trade, and you can need quite a big amount of money. I think it starts with, I'm not sure exactly what, but you can scale up pretty fast, and they give you money to trade. I think you have to kind of do a period of like they test you and stuff, but after that you're good. And then there's plenty of prop firm online. One of my students is applying to them now, so we're gonna be able to come up with a list of like the good ones soon. But that's really possible to do. You just have to find the right one and go with that. So, but keep in mind, sometimes they ask for like a minimum deposit of like sometimes 5K to be able to trade with them, which can be good if the prop firm is reliable. If it's not reliable, then forget about it. It's not a good idea at all. So gotta be careful on that. Jonathan says, is simplicity really the key? In my point of view, something so simple won't be able to stand the test of time. And because Forex is a long-term game, that worries me a lot. Well, okay. Here's what you can do. This is Jonathan. So you can really think about having something really complicated and when we mean complicated, we mean like fitting to the market, right? and that means that if it's too complicated, it means like it's fitting the market, and that this is more likely even to last a shorter time, because it's like too much stuff, too much crap you try to add to fix to fit to the market. Bad idea. And second thing is, if you have something so complicated, chances are that like you won't adapt. You will like people have like really fancy things, and I've met people like this in the past. You meet traders that like they have this fancy way of doing things that they think is like the world class way of trading, and that they're the best. And these people, they cannot detach themselves from what they trade. They're like, oh, I trade this, and this is the thing that works. And then when it doesn't work, they still think it works because they've been used to it, right? So they're stuck to it, and that's a bad thing. Adaptability is big in trading. You have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to change when things need to change. So if you have something simple, how tough is it to change? It's pretty simple, right? Because it's already simple. Change something simple for simple, it's easy. But change something complicated for complicated, it's a whole different world, and that's gonna be tough, right? So of course it's gonna change, it's gonna vary, but that is where taking the role of a manager and not a trader is really useful. It's not like, did I make money now? Did I make the right trade now? Is how my system and how my systems and my strategies performing now? Are they good? Are they bad? What do we need to cut, to add, to withdraw, to remove, to increase? And that's how you see result, by looking back and seeing the big picture of things and adapting your strategies to that. And then if you need to change. That's gonna be your job. But if you don't, then don't. But simple is way better in my opinion. And everything I trade now is simple. I think you gotta be careful of like having these small tweaks, because some things make a big difference, and people might think they're complicated at first, but they're actually simple. Things like, for me, that was the market context. I didn't think about that first. I said I'll trade the Bollinger Band with engulfing candles, and that's fine. But then I started to trade. It was not really profitable, and then a coach I hired told me that like it's very important to look at the context of the market, what the context is, and what happens overall. Then I apply this. At first I didn't understand. It's like it's complicated for me. It's tough, but then I had to kind of learn and practice. And something you practice long enough doesn't come to be super complicated. It comes to be simple. It comes to be easy because you've practiced a lot, and that's what you want to do. So if it's too complicated now, just keep it simple. And if you need to learn something, learn it. But then that's gonna become simple over time, in my opinion. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Shane. She says, or he says, I'm not sure. Let me know when you're in Melbourne. I'll take you around, shoot you city. Awesome. You need to deserve to trade with a big stack. Yeah, exactly. York says you need to deserve to trade with a big stack of money. So you get there by like over time. And the biggest principle I love from this is Michael Tamo, who's going to be in our Mastermind Coffee Academy next Wednesday, talks about the fact that you need to have what we call a graduation plan. Like in school, they don't put you in grade 6 when you're grade 2 when you graduate. They put you in grade 3, right? From 2 to 3. And the same thing goes for trading. Like create yourself a plan, a spreadsheet of like, I start here, I trade an account of like $2,000, and then I want to grow to $4,000, then 6, then 8, then 10, or whatever your scale is. And then you add money over time. You might increase your size of trade every time also. And that's how you grow your account. It's not by going all in, big and stuff, because then you get to be scared, and that's not good. That's not a good thing at all. Like I've seen people that are scared because they've been like scaling too fast. Then they have to trade like 2 lots or 3 or 10 lots, whatever, and they're scared, right? So, but they got there because they didn't plan before. They didn't graduate. If you graduate, like this step should be kind of a stretch of like, oh, I'm going from like $2,000 to a $5,000 account. Okay, that's a stretch. Like user numbers increase, it's gonna be double your loss, double your win. So it's kind of scary, but then it's not that bad as like having 10 times your loss or 10 times your profit, right? So you can still sustain. And you do the spreadsheet like when you do this, when you've reached this, then you increase, then you go forward. Okay, and if always have like a plan where if things don't go as expected, then you'll like maybe move back on the plan, go backward a little bit. So at least you're not like completely all in and always increasing, but you have this kind of plan to go back if you need, but go forward as things improve and get better in your trading. Okay, so that's really important. So also good advice. All right, so love this, guys. Let me see how we've done. 20 minutes in, that's pretty good. Can you recommend a Canadian accountant for Canadian tax filing? Not yet. I'm about to get an accountant, to be honest, because it's way too much trouble and takes too much time. So when I find one, I'll probably might recommend. Depends what that person is, but yeah, that's something that I didn't think I would need at first, but then it's like I realized like all these things going on, the trading, the business, the traveling in the world, it's just too hard to keep up. So I'll probably hire one at some point. What's up, Chris? Awesome. Jeez, it's starting the music outside. It's incredible. You guys will see the videos from Progreso pretty soon. I just have to edit them. Also, another thing I had a lot of trouble with recently is editing. It just takes a lot of time, and I just have to like. I had to get clear of like, and I have a video on that soon. But I have to get clear of like, what do you need to like? What do you want to do? How do I want to contribute to the world? And I found out editing video is not the way to help the world. Like it's not the way I can contribute the best. I can help the best by like teaching and give you guys value and producing content, but not by editing a video or not by programming a code for an EA. So I kind of have to kind of scale back and focus on what I want to do and help you guys with, and then by the same time putting other people on the task I want to do. So I'm trying to hire an editor now. If you guys know how to edit videos, let me know in the comment or somewhere, and I would appreciate. But I'm in touch with people to do that. Just have to do that soon, of course. What's your view on using Australian brokerage? To have been Aussie brokerage for the past 6 years. I'm curious your opinion. I can't really tell for now. I opened an account with Trader like 2 weeks ago approximately. Put money in like last week, and like not even last week, like 3 days ago. And I don't have an opinion for that so far, but I think they're fine. Some of them, not all, but some are regulated, which is a good thing, and that's just perfect for me. That's fine. And they tend to have some, I don't know, I can't really tell. I didn't explore that too much, but I've been recommended that by Trent, my friend at the Forex Park FX, who's really good about knowing about brokers. If you need help on like picking a broker, just reach out to me. I'll introduce you to him, and he can help you out with like picking the right broker and stuff, and going into like, because there's so many subtleties that I don't think about. Things like, if you day trade, it's gonna be a different broker than if you swing trade, or if you trade bigger lots, it's gonna be different, or whatever. So you have to think about it more. You have to be really, really careful about what you pick, especially because the fees are high. So like, if you pick a broker that's having too high fees, then you will lose money on your whole account. So, and that's gonna impact your bottom line. So you have to be careful with that. Ren says Pepperstone's been good for me. Awesome. Yeah, they might be good. I think Pepperstone doesn't accept Canadian resident now, so it's a different game. But if you're in Australia, then yeah, pick a broker from Australia. I think that makes sense. That's the best. Lars, yeah, good question. He says, are you trading other people's money at the moment or just your own account? I'm trading only my own account now. Partly because my goals are different now than they used to be back when I traded for other people. I kind of changed. I kind of want to have a bigger positive impact, and I can't do that by like talking to an investor or sending him reports or doing these things. So, but yeah, I used to do it back like a year and a half ago, but now I stopped for a year and a half. So focus on other things. But it's a good experience, I would say. So if you're at a point where you kind of need, I don't want to say this, but if you kind of need a little bit of a push to be able to treat this as a business or a real job, then that's a good idea. Because like you have to do it as a real job, treat it as a business. You're trading. If you don't do it now, might be a good way to push yourself. But at the same time, you want to be prepared for that and being able to handle the drawdowns and everything. And yeah, so Lars says, is it tough trading for other people? And I would say it's tough because they have more things to do on the side of trading, but it's good because you have you treat it more as a job. You have to perform. You can't like just try something out because you feel like it. You have to do what you told the guy you would do, what the investor you would do, and just do that. And then for me, that worked well. Some people they might have that pressure, but then they don't do it, or they just take trades randomly, which just happens. But if you're like me, where I'm really cautious about what I do when I do it for someone else, then like you'll be super strict on yourself, and that's a good thing, I think. So you have to see for yourself, and yeah, but you always have to start slow or start low, and then increase over time. So if the guy has like $1 million trade, then don't trade 1 million from like day one. Trade like, or maybe you can trade 1 million, but like go with a small percent size from the start of like, now I risk, let's say, $500 per trade. So I'm gonna risk now $500 on the $1 million, but then later I'll increase over time. Of like, now I risk more and more over time. A graduation plan I was talking about. You graduate over time, and I think that's the best way to go about it. Yam Killa says, how do you deal with price discrepancies when using different brokers, especially when using indicators, EAs? Because can I close at a bit of lower, yeah, for each brokers since Forex is decentralized. Yeah, exactly. Uh, there's this, but it's not a big issue. So here are a few things. First of all, the key here is that you have to be consistent with what you use. If you change broker every week, of course, like your result will suffer. But if you have always the same broker, always the same price, you're good. And you test your stuff on the same broker, you're good. Like it's always the same, always consistent on that. And then the other thing is, I know some brokers, they only have like the price only different because they include the spread in the price or something of the sort. But yeah, you have to verify that. But I think it's like a question of like spread or something that some included, some don't on the closing price. So you have to see this for different brokers. But if not, just stay consistent, and that's gonna solve the problem. Always have the same. So yeah, sounds good, guys. I appreciate you once again. If you have any questions in the meantime, make sure you let me know in the comments of this video. And we'll have an awesome event on Thursday, my last live training of 2018, which I'm really excited about. And there's a lot of content, of course. It's going to be a long one, but it's going to be really tactical, really impactful for you guys. And links to me below in the description if you want to sign up for that. On that note, I'll catch you back here in Progreso. I might do tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, because we have the weekly review tomorrow in the channel. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And just answer this right here. Anmol says, what age did you start to trade and how long have you been trading? I've been trading 5 years now. More than that, 5 years and a half. And I started trading in 2013 at 18, I think. Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'll catch you back here tomorrow. Ciao.